We have unit 2b less than 7% of a number. Our target is I can find the percent of a number when the percent is greater than 100% or less than 1%. Okay, you need to go through your quick check problems to double check to make sure that you have everything down from the last lesson because we have our quiz coming up. So pause the video, go through these 5 problems, then play the video again just to see how we're doing. All right, here we go. I have 65% of 29. So I'm going to round that over to 70% of 30. There's 2 ways we can do this. We can find out what 10% is, 10% of 30. And when you find this out, all that you do is move the decimal 1 place over. So 10% of 30 is 3. So 70% of 30 would be 21. Okay, so that's all that we had to do was go through and find that. For 41%, I'm going to take a look over here, and I'm going to round up to 200, and I'm going to round down to 40%. Okay. Now, the other way to do this is to change it into decimal form and then multiply, which is 80. Here, I'm going to round down to 70% of 40. So 10% of 40 is 4. So 70% of 40 would be 28. Mr. Hudson is painting a mural of the school mascot on the wall of the high school gym. The entire job should take him 26 hours. If 20%, he is 20% of the way finished with the mural, about how much time has he spent painting? Okay, depending upon how accurate you want to be with this, we could round 26 to 25 or up to 30. 30 is easier since we're at 30% or 20% of 30. We come down, find out what 10% is. And then from there, multiply it by 2 and we get 6 hours. In a survey of 1,632 people, 78% said they would be voting in the upcoming election. About how many people surveyed will be voting in the election? I'm going to take a look. Round that to 80% of 1,600. I rounded to the nearest 100 because it make it easier for myself. I take this in decimal form and multiply it times 1,600, and I get 1,280. Now we're going to take a look and focus on the topic for today, which is going through and finding the percent of the number. There are 2 different methods for us to do this. One involving fractions and one involving decimals. Personally, I think that the decimals is an easier way to go for it, but we'd like to teach you both ways and have you have an opportunity to decide which is best for you. So, the question is, suppose there are 300 students at York Middle School. Find the number of students that have cheese as a snack. We notice 15% of the people have cheese for a snack. So we change that fraction or that percent to a fraction, 15 over 100. Simplify the 3/20ths, then multiply it times the 300 students and we get 45. If we change that to a decimal and multiply, we get the same result. Plural, students. We're going to do example 2 together because we need a reminder of what we should do when we have a percent that's above 100 or below 1. So if I have 145%, I still move that decimal 2 places to the left to turn it into my decimal form, which is 1 45 hundredths. I then take 1 45 hundredths and multiply it times 320. We multiply because of this of here. Of means multiplication. So we get 464 as our answer. Because we have 145%, that means that we have more than the original amount, not less, more. So it's 1.45. Go ahead, turn over to the top of the next page. Try example 3 and 4 on your own right now. Pause the video and go. As we're taking a look, we have 220% of 65. Remember, if we don't have a decimal, it starts here. We move it 2 places to the left. And we have 2 2/10 times 65. That would be 2 2/10 or 2 20 hundredths. That's fine. And we get 143 as our answer. Here we have a part of a percent. So we have 25 hundredths of a percent. Since the decimal is already there, we still need to move it 2 places to the left and annex a 0. So we have 25 10,000ths times 58, and we get 145 thousandths as our answer. In a recent state that the Special Olympics met, Franklin County sent a team of 70 players. 20% of the team competed in soccer. How many athletes competed in soccer? So if I have 20% of 70 players, this one is a little bit easier because it's at the whole 20%. It's not like a 21 or 22%. So we can find 10% of 70, which is 7. And if we're going from 10% to 20%, we're multiplying times 2. So 20% of 70 players would be 14 players. All right. Make sure you have this all filled in and that you are starting to work and study using those study tools on your calendar for your quiz. All right. Have a good night.